So this was back in 2006, I think it was, that I said data is the new oil. My point was the two things really, that we were at the start of a revolution, just like oil created the revolution in industry. We were at the start of a revolution where data was going to fundamentally change processes. And for the first time, we were going to have processes that would really depend on data and would really drive forward major innovation. But also, like oil, data on its own is not very useful. It has to be changed into information and into insight. And so I use the analogy of oil to illustrate the idea of making plastics and polymers from the oil. And that was my intention with the quote, was to explain that just because we have data doesn't mean we've solved the problem. We've got to refine it, and actually you need to treat it like a crude data source and then change it into something useful to make it powerful. I think what people need to realize is that data science on its own isn't anything. There's the originators of data, so they have business processes that originate data, whether it's in the consumer world like me, or it's sensors in a big machinery, or diagnostics from satellites, or whatever it is. There's the creators of data, and there are the consumers of data, people who want outcomes and want to change business models and want to improve business processes. And the challenge for a data scientist is to help communicate not just what the data says, but what it means for a process. So I think it's about really creating a rounded individual who can not just apply the principles of data science, but can see the consequences in the real world. And that's very important. And again, that comes back to ethics. Is it ethical to do some things? It might be possible, but is it ethical? Those are things that data scientists are going to have to consider in the future, I think. And increasingly, as data becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, the other byproduct of data is a lot of CO2 and greenhouse gases, because it takes a lot of power to run these big data centers. So it starts raising the question, actually, what are the limits? Are we going to keep all the data forever? Or are we going to have to start thinking about new ways of storing and summarizing data? So these become all exciting opportunities for people in the industry. Data science is probably one of the most exciting opportunities there is, because it gives you the ability to take your inherent intellect and apply it to real world problems and actually help people, help society, help businesses grow and prosper. So in a way, it's a very altruistic role, but at the same time, data science is very mentally stimulating. It challenges your thought processes and you can continue to innovate. I think one of the exciting things about my career is I've not stopped learning over the best part of 50 years. Because actually, having graduated from Sheffield in '76, ever since then I've still been looking at new techniques, new methods, and departments like Sheffield's schools will continue to develop new ideas, and what we want to do is see how we can apply those ideas. So it's a fantastic career to go into. You've not made a mistake if you're thinking of studying data science. What I hope I bring to the course is a real world context. I think it's very easy at a university to see the theory, but not really understand the implications of implementation. And what I hope I can do is help people understand that sometimes an 80% good solution implemented well is more valuable than a 100% accurate solution implemented badly. And so I think it's about helping people understand that whilst there are lots of innovative methods, those have to fit into the context of a real world and into the way that people behave and how people are going to use the output of data science to improve society. Data science really requires you to have 4 basic skills. It needs you to understand how to apply the techniques and evolve those techniques in a situation. It involves knowing how to translate and transform data to make it more useful. It involves a degree of ethics in terms of thinking about what is ethical and what isn't ethical in what you're doing. And finally, it involves understanding business processes and helping people to implement your findings to change the organisation or business that you're working with. So in that way, it's a sort of very stimulating world and an exciting world.